There's quite a bit of discussion currently happening in the Bitcoin Strategy Telegram group around the Chiliz token. In case you want to join that Telegram group as well, simply search for Bitcoin Strategy channel within that app. Let's have a look at the TA, at the technical analysis of Chiliz. What's interesting when we look at the US dollar chart is that we are pretty close here to a resistance, right? But usually I don't really like to look just at the US dollar chart because US dollar charts are very heavily influenced by the general crypto momentum. And so what you very often see is very similar peaks at same times, as in, let's look at Bitcoin, for example, right? Let's compare this to Bitcoin. We had a peak here on the 13th of November of last year. And when we look at Chiliz at the same time, also a peak. And when we look at the low, maybe here on the 12th of May of 2022, when we look at Bitcoin, also went down quite heavily on the 12th of May. Then we got another crash here in Bitcoin, which didn't happen that massively in Chiliz, but still there is some kind of correlation here, right? So in order to actually filter all of this out, what we can do is we can look at relative performance, because that's in the end the idea anyways, right? We want to hold an altcoin because we want to get more return versus just the regular Bitcoin or versus just the regular Ethereum, right? You want to outperform. You take on more risk, more idiosyncratic risk, more movements of a particular chain or of a particular project. And with that risk should come more reward. So let's look at this. Did we actually get outperformance versus Bitcoin? And the answer is yes, we did. This is Chiliz relative to Bitcoin, relative valuation chart to Bitcoin. And this is interesting, right? We tend to go somewhat sideways when no new things are on the way. But once there is a great announcement, and this here was the Barcelona Corporation, then we get massive outperformance. Currently, again, we are on a rally. Now this here could potentially be again a resistance. Not saying that we can't overcome this, but still this is worth watching, right? There's not that much more room to grow according to this, right? Maybe another 11% or so. This is now relative to Bitcoin again. So the Chiliz token, it tends to move in very drastic movements, right? This is a daily chart. When we zoom in here, it's almost every day that the price rises during a rally, rises relatively sharply. And then when that stops, then the crash isn't that quickly, but still, then we continue to somewhat bleed over time. And so is it now too late for Chiliz? Nobody knows, right? Nobody can say when this turns around. In the past, a similar kind of resistance was also just simply overcome and we simply just went way higher. This was another gain of like 500%. So nobody can say where this actually stops. But what probably makes sense is to keep a pretty close trailing stop loss. What's a trailing stop loss? It's a stop loss, so a price level where you're willing to sell, but it's not fixed as a usual stop loss where you say, okay, when it falls below a certain US dollar value, then you want to sell. Instead, you adjust the stop loss more and more to the upside, the higher the price goes. So in other words, you want to keep running that positive momentum, you keep the stop loss with that rising price, and then when the momentum turns around, right, then you want to be exiting very, very quickly. This is what would have worked in the past, right? In a similar kind of move, simply just keep a very, very close trailing stop loss. Once this massive rally stops, then you are quickly out and you're not part of this long-term bleed. So this could be, again, somewhat of a strategy here. Let's also look at Chiliz relative to Ethereum, because that's in the end what I think also makes sense as a comparison. Here, the resistance is further away. So here we've got actually 180% potential outperformance versus Ethereum. Now, I do think that the current rally looks relatively healthy. First of all, this is pretty unique, as in the overall crypto momentum, the overall situation around crypto isn't that hyped. So seeing that much of a positive price action is great. What I also like is the trading volume yet isn't spiking. And that would usually be a potential danger sign. Because when we look at this in the past, right, the reason why I now look here at CoinMarketCap and not at TradingView anymore is because CoinMarketCap aggregates the different kinds of marketplaces. So when you look at the volume over here, you get the volume for all the different liquidity pools. We see here when this trading volume spikes, the price tends to spike as well, right? So the attention here is very, very high. And with high attention comes high price. Then when the trading volume normalizes again, the price also tends to fall. So you want to avoid buying at elevated trading volume. High prices can continue to rise. In general, this is actually what's happening in crypto most of the time. Most of the time, prices simply continue to go the way they currently are, right? The cycles are somewhat reinforcing, but you don't want to be buying at maximum hype. When trading volume is very, very high and when the early investors, they take all the profits. And so look out for those spikes in trading volume. When we currently look at the trading volume, it's not that elevated actually. We have seen way higher trading volume in the past, like at least double the size, maybe even 3 times the size of the trading volume. So that does not look super heated to me yet. Still, jumping on this is of course somewhat dangerous. Keep a trailing stop loss. That would be my bet over here. I personally am not that much into altcoin betting at this moment because I like to rather gamble or take these very risky positions in bull markets. But if you're still doing this and you have a pretty close eye on Chiliz, simply just manage your risk. There is potentially more upside. Nobody knows when this actually will turn around. Simply make sure not to be in the market when all of the excitement here fades away again. Currently, by the way, we are at 24 cents, right? So this is on the 24th of August 2022. Let's see how this video ages. I'm rather bullish on all of this. This looks pretty solid. We don't see these kinds of rallies with comparatively low trading volume that often. And if they do happen, if you simply just take advantage of this early enough and if you manage your risk and not ride all the potential downside that might happen afterwards, this could be a potential moneymaker. So again, in case you do have Telegram, but you're not yet in our group, simply search for Bitcoin Strategy channel within the app. We are currently discussing the Chiliz token over here. And if you're interested in a bit more deeper content, as in how to generate on-chain blockchain data, so looking at the number of holders of a token, looking at the largest holders of a token, or if you're interested in trading bot programming, things like that, then feel free to check out the bitcoinstrategy.com. That's the premium membership. You can also contact me there directly. More information around that premium membership is in this video over here. Hope to see you in a video and thanks for watching this one. Bye-bye.